Panda. I got broads in Atlanta. Just took the lean in the family. Credit cards and the scammers. Getting no licks in the band. Legacy.
The fuck is up? It's another motherfucking episode of the goddamn Nasty Sports Update. Today we are sponsored yet unsponsored by North Face. Because in high school, all the little thotties had on the little North Face. Good times, much simpler times in my life. But today, we have some great topics to get into. I want to start off with giving huge congratulations to the Kansas City Chiefs and the motherfucking San Francisco 49ers. Hell of a season for both teams. San Francisco really shook up the NFL with the way that they played this year. Jimmy Garoppolo, what could have been over in New England. Sad story, but, you know, much respect to Kyle Shanahan. John Lynch up top, George Kittle, Breida, they got Tevin Coleman, that Schuster kid that just went crazy last week, like Emmanuel Sanders. They got a squad. They got a nice squad. And then in the AFC, Patty Mahomes, last year we was a stumbling block in New England, but this year, who would have thought after that injury he had to his knee early on in the year that, we would still be looking at him like, man, you went crazy. And he was lighting folks up in the playoffs. They didn't have no business to be out there. The Texans was whooping their ass, and he came back and straddled off 50 on their head. Defense was the first defense to shut down that motherfucking big ass bull, Derrick Henry. Lamar Jackson definitely had the best season, but if he wouldn't have missed those 3 games, he definitely would have been in top contention for getting that award as well. So definitely a huge shout out to them. And I think this is going to be an entertaining Super Bowl. Of course, as I keep always say, Patriots are my team. But, last Super Bowl was kind of we know what it was. Even though we got the dub, it wasn't that great. And I know, countrywide, people ain't been wanting to see the Patriots in the Super Bowl. And now you finally got it. And I think this one is going to show to be a strong. It'll probably be highly viewed. Betting is going to be all over the place, so it's going to be a good time, and I can't wait to see the game and be entertained by these two teams. And I hope, and I'll put this out there now, I'm rooting for Patty Mahomes. So can't wait. Conor McGregor beat the shit out of a nigga named Cowboy in 22 and a half seconds, I guess. I don't think my man threw one punch, and it didn't land. I think it was maybe a show put on by the UFC, because that shit was, it seemed a little predictable and unpredictable at the same time. Mayweather comes out with a poster about McGregor, Mayweather 2020. It's like, man, listen, don't nobody give a fuck about that shit. Mayweather, sit your old ass at home. And Conor McGregor, you just keep fighting unworthy opponents. Because I think if you fight Nate Diaz, he's going to beat the brakes off you. How I feel. Baseball, Houston Astros, cheating scandal. Wow. How things have unfolded over the last 72 hours. Yeah, it's rough, over the last week, I'd say. Just the new findings, the Jose Altuve jersey scandal, him not wanting to not get it ripped off when he hit the game walk-off home run, the disparaging numbers between being at home and being away for the big hitters on their team. It's a lot to be said, and it's a lot left on the table, but as Manfred came on and said, the commissioner of baseball said they weren't taking away Boston nor Houston's titles, which they shouldn't. If you get away with it at the time, hey man, it is what it is. You got away with that shit. And that shit was genius. And niggas be sign stealing, but buzzers and shit, that shit wild. But I mean, if you got away with it at the time, then shit. If you ain't cheating, you ain't trying. I tell niggas that all the time. I don't give a fuck. It's when you get caught that's the problem. If you don't get caught, it is what it is, my friend. Shit. But speaking of baseball, and what I'm gonna talk about for the rest of this time is the absurdity that Barry Bonds is continuously, it has yet win another time and did not get inducted into the Baseball Hall of Fame. By far the greatest MLB player to ever play the game, even before he took steroids. He's the greatest baseball player ever. And for him to be passed up, not once, not twice, but 9 times, it's either 9 or 7. Either way. Because of steroids in an era where everybody was taking steroids. The greatest era of baseball, some say. I say. And he was the greatest to do it. He was by far the best. Not just hitting, his fielding. I believe 5 or 7 golden gloves. Like, the guy was amazing. He was amazing. And then whenever the steroid shit happened, he was hitting balls into the lake behind the field. They would only throw him 1 pitch a game. They would walk him the entire game, throw him 1 pitch, 500 yards. I'll see you later. Are you joking? I mean, they would try to throw a ball, and he would knock that bitch out the park. Don't get close to this plate or that bitch is going bye-bye. And this is the guy that you want to keep out of the Hall of Fame because of something that you deem is wrong and baseball can't have it. Get the fuck out of here. It doesn't matter if you take steroids. If you ain't good, you just gonna be big and trash. It still takes skill to play the game and do it at the highest of levels. You keeping out the best baseball player ever. And it's because he didn't like media. He didn't like y'all. So the fuck what? People nobody is forced to like somebody else. He don't have to talk to you. Niggas just be wanting to do their job and be done with it. Marshawn Lynch is one of the recent, and he gets praised for it now because we're in a different era. But back then, if you wasn't a good old boy and you ain't do what was deemed that you needed to do, then they tried to ostracize you. And if you was mean, then they doubled it. They wanted to make you seem like a villain when you weren't. Just didn't want to talk to you bum ass niggas. I'm the best baseball player in the world. I don't got to talk to y'all niggas. It's a fucking goddamn shame, bro. Barry Bonds, the greatest baseball player ever, needed to be in the Hall of Fame from the first go. With no questions. Back in the day, all of these people that they herald, motherfucking, you know the stories, Babe Ruth getting drunk, niggas taking amphetamines and shit before games. It's the same thing. But you don't want to judge your so-called greats. But the greatest baseball player, if nobody ever will say it, it'll be me, is a black man. We the greatest at everything. Sad truths about it. But you bum ass niggas over at the base, and you niggas that be voting, y'all some hoes, and you know you are. But this has been another motherfucking week of the greatest, the most undeniable, the infallible, the dopest sports commentary you can motherfucking find in under 10 minutes. We'll see you next week.